You'll never leave me. Oh, hey. Hey, how's it going? This is Travis. Welcome back to another Hero's Journey live stream. In this Hero's Journey live stream, we're checking out my new favorite, who unfortunately will leave me probably, but I have her now, the Revo Max. Oh, and I'm dinging her. And we have the glorious, unfortunately, kind of collecting some dust, the old MASHUP here. Once new, now old. Both are really great boards. Let's dive in which one you reckon is better for you. And per usual, I sound great and I look great. To start, I've had the MASHUP for around half a year, 7, 8 months now. And I know that because I just recently paid it off. I had like a little Chase installment fee where you pay it off monthly, and then I finally paid it off. And then I was like, what have I been paying every month for? Because I'm not even using it lately because I have the Revo Max, which pretty much replaces all your other boards, and you have no need for any other boards if you have the Revo Max. But in all seriousness, let's dive into what's kind of similar and what's different about these two Firewire surfboards. And really quick, if you can please smash the like, hit subscribe, comment down below or in the live chat which one of these boards you have or which one you're kind of more familiar with or you're more keen on. Because right away, again, I've said this a billion times now, but I look at the Revo and the Evo and all these Tomo shapes, and I thought, those are not for me. Like, I don't know what this thing is. What is going on here? What is this? What's that? This is weird. Never, ever was keen. Never. And then one day, luckily, shout out Firewire, the lovely people of Firewire suggested that I demo it. And I appreciate it still because I, was open with arms wide open, as, the great artists say. I accepted it and I tried to open my heart and listen, and I'm glad I did because what the Revo Max does is it essentially kills all your pointy, old school 1998 shortboards, and it kind of makes them obsolete, unfortunately. Now, again, I'm kind of speaking in silly tongue here, but that's what's so funny is the main part about the Revo Max that's really epic is this whole thing up here. This is the gold mine. And then when you look at this board, where is it? It doesn't have it. It's negative space. It doesn't exist. And that gold right there is what keeps you shredding the wave. Now, today the waves are actually like firing. I did get a few clips, shout out Surfline, that are kind of sick. If you follow me on the IG, it's Travis Varga _ On my story right now, I have one wave. And what this board was doing really great was essentially getting into the waves early, where the MASHUP would have definitely had trouble doing that. This is 6'3", 35 liters. The MASHUP is 5'9", 34-ish liters. So it's like a liter, only 1 liter more. But it is 6 inches longer, 6'3" minus whatever is the 5'9". But that's what's interesting is that even with the 1 extra liter, the board gets into the waves and it grovels heaps better than the poor old MASHUP here. Now, but can the MASHUP like shred harder? Well, maybe, because the Revo Max, if you live in Southern California, which maybe I do, maybe I don't, the waves around here, unless you're surfing a certain nudist beach, are kind of like stereotypical trestles, which, as my dad always used to say, easy takeoffs. And that's kind of what the waves in SoCal are for the most part. A lot of the popular breaks, it's an easy takeoff, a slopey takeoff, and then it could even be kind of soft the whole way. The pocket can be kind of limited, and you need some, I think, room up towards the nose of the board to take advantage of like that soft wave and the pocket. So today, the Revo Max, it was crazy because like I was catching just so many waves on it, and it was almost like I felt kind of bad because like I paddle back out, and then a wave was coming, and I'd look around and be like, well, if no one's gonna go, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna let the wave go to waste. And that's what's interesting is that I would just turn around and start paddling, and a wave I would not catch on the MASHUP, I caught on the Revo Max. And I would notice you kind of catch waves on the Revo Max very similar to a longboard. You're paddling in, and because of the Goldilocks zone right here, it lets you get into the wave. Whereas the pointy nose boards, they don't let you get into the wave because there's not as much surface area right here to take advantage of like the slopey, easy takeoff. So I was catching just like heaps of waves, and I had a friend on a mid-length. I had other people out. Like basically, this guy ran a 9-foot longboard who was shredding, and me were like catching the most waves. And I was looking around, and I was like, the waves are going off, and it's super crowded, and I'm catching like tons of waves on this thing. Like, how is this even possible? Again, it's because of this and this, the spine right here. Now, the MASHUP, if you get into the wave, you can be shredding, but this actually letting you get into the wave early is everything that's going to change you catching tons of waves. So right away, I'm going to say maybe we'll even go like kind of like a list, like a winner of this versus this. So the catching wave ability, I'm going to have to give it to the Revo Max. The Revo Max catches waves better than the MASHUP because it's pretty much a mini longboard. I mean, it is more of a mini mid-length. So it's marketed as a board to catch waves, a board to be for when you're coming out of an injury. So it's easier to catch waves. That's just the bottom line. Maybe if you like oversized your MASHUP, but again, what we're all realizing in the surf community is the MASHUP, it's not a groveler. This is a shortboard. So this is my potato chip surfboard, shortboard, and it has reluctantly become that because when you ride it, it rides like a shortboard. It shreds, it pivots deep. The tail right here, that tail, this tail digs in very well, a little too well for when it's a soft, slopey wave, like a lot of waves in California are. It actually doesn't have enough float and it wants to dig in as opposed to slide across the wave. It wants to dig in and kind of do the little tic-tac skateboard move. So first victory goes to the Revo Max for catching waves. Second thing we'll talk about is shredding the waves. Which board can actually like shred the wave harder? Now let's pretend it's like mini pipeline and it's really throwy and it's fast. Here's where I do think, sorry Revo Max, the MASHUP takes the edge here. And it's because the one area it does excel is when it gets a little top to bottom and not as typical California slopey. It gets very thinned out everywhere. The rails actually know though. It does stay, now that I'm actually picking it up, the volume, because it's a shorter board, does have to get more compressed into the actual deck. The Revo Max, the rails are a lot thinner. This I'm actually just realizing that the rails are thicker. It's nothing like a Twinsman or like the Sweet Potato where it's like a platform. But it does stay quite thick up to the black area. And then it keeps that thickness across the deck. And that's how you keep the board smaller, is by keeping all the volume compressed in the deck. But what they did with the tail is the reason why it really does do those like short mini blacks or mini pipeline waves well, because it can just kind of pivot off the swallow, and those two little things right there, you can kind of see them. It's the Sony ZV one doesn't want to focus off my face, but there's two little indentions right here and here. And that, what that does is it creates a lot of dig in the water, like I was just saying, which is what you want when the waves are finally delivering. You want to be able to dig the rail, because on a bully wave, if you don't dig the rail, what happens is the wave comes up and you just kind of, your board just kind of gets pushed. And because the rail doesn't dig, it goes in the water and falls over. So if it's like punchy, that's the word, punchy. It's a punchy wave. The Revo Max, unfortunately, is the loser here, and the MASHUP is the winner. Especially if you size the MASHUP like even smaller than this. This is the 5'9". I'm 5'10". Now I'm like 176. I'm like fat now. It kind of sucks. After Thanksgiving, like I gained 5 pounds and I can't get it off. But most people that have the MASHUP, they have the 5'7". For some reason, the 5'7" is the main one I see in the wild, and they're all kind of bummed, I think, because I think they got it too small. And the MASHUP is so squirrely and skatey and made for like a very punchy wave that, they were like, not that they got duped or anything, they're just like, ah, crap, I kind of went too small. I mean, the 5'7" MASHUP is liters wise, it's 31.4 liters, which is the same liters as the 6.0 Tomo Revo Max. So that's super interesting because Tomo is riding the 6.0 and the promo material for the Revo Max, and it doesn't seem too small at all for him. But the 5'7" MASHUP, I think, would be too small for Tomo. I mean, most people I see with the 5'7" MASHUP, they're like my size, and I'm just like, I don't even know how you're floating on that thing, because when I paddle and surf this thing, I wouldn't want it any smaller. I mean, I tried the 5'10" at Waco, and then I impulse bought the 5'9" with the under the arm test. I'd never done that in my life. I'm stoked to have this board, but it was the dumbest, most impulsive decision I've ever made in my life. I still have no clue to this day why I suddenly did the under the arm test and was like, I'm going to throw out all my research of surfing for the last almost 30 years and just go with this one because it feels better under the arm. It was quite silly. Maybe I wanted to show off to the store employee. Shout out one of the stores here. I can't dox myself here. But I kind of wanted to be cool, and he was like, oh, 5'10", like, isn't that kind of big for you? He didn't say that, but I could tell he was thinking it. And I was like, you know what, store employee? I got to be cool. I'm going to get the 5'9", and I'm cool and I ride. He was like, you probably could go 5'7", but I'll allow it. And I was like, all right, cool, thank God. So I got the 5'9", and overall, when it's the punchy, fast, low-tidy waves, I do love the 5'9" MASHUP. And that's where people probably also love the 5'7" MASHUP, because that's what it's really made for. It's kind of made for Waco. Like, I tested it at Waco, and I could see this being the perfect Waco board. You don't need a ton of slow, longboardy speed to get into the Waco wave. And once you're up, you want a small, compact short board because you have speed. You don't have to worry about pumping. And that's where this thing, the 5'7", like, would be most sicker. Oh, we got Migsy, my new best friend. Migsy, what is happening? Let's see what you said. Oh, my mouse is somewhere. Here it is. Migsy, good day, amigo. Good day. I know in Australia it's like 4 p.m., right? I wanted to make sure you guys were awake. 3 p.m. 3 p.m. So you're at work, skipping work to watch me. I appreciate that. So let's see what Migsy had to say. Migsy says, believe it or not, I've literally got out on the water, try my Revo Max for the first time. By the way, I got the MASHUP too, and I love it. There you go. Migsy, we're like long lost besties over here, mates. I mean, I would love to live in Australia again. I mean, I could maybe live down by you. I definitely like the Gold Coast. I don't know if I could handle the crowds anymore, but I could surf D-Ba every day. Is D-Ba blown out now? Or is it still sick? Because D-Ba is my favorite wave in the whole world. I love that wave. But yeah, sick, dude. That's freaking awesome. So 4 p.m. Sweet. Well, thanks for stopping by again. We'll keep getting into it. So you can help me with this combo because you have them both. So Migsy, you've seen the South Park. Oh, I think it's the Minji. I think it's the Jennifer Lopez. I think think that's the Minji episode. I can't remember, but your name reminds me of Minji from South Park. But yeah, Diva is amazing. What do you reckon, Migsy? I'm putting you on the spot. Do you like the MASHUP more, or do you like the Revo Max more? Did you say you surfed the Revo? You said you surfed it once. Believe it or not, I've literally got out of the water. Oh, so you tried it for the first time. Migsy, what's the Revo Max update? And then tell me also MASHUP versus Revo Max, what you're going with. And I'll continue my spiel. As people leave, they're over it. But so the winner of what can actually shred harder when like the waves are kind of pumping, but low tide, fast, throwy pumping, I'm going to go MASHUP. I'm going to go MASHUP. For like when it's Diva, 2 to 4, and barreling, MASHUP. All right, so we got 1-1. It's a 1-1. All right, Migsy says, I will put, oh geez, Migsy's making big claims. I will put as much info here right now. I gotta walk the dog. It's driving me nuts. That's hilarious. You're saying MASHUP 100. 100. I'm gonna 100 you, and I'm gonna give you that and give you some hearts. There we go. Damn, you're claiming MASHUP. The poor MASHUP, which has been, I think, unfairly like discredited by many naysayers. Because go to the marketing, go to the Firewire website, and they're saying the MASHUP is the Seaside mixed with the Spitfire, which, shout out Mike Raven, you just made a Spitfire video if you're in the chat or you're watching this later, but that video was awesome. And the Spitfire is like an OG shape, and it's funny because I think some people are like, well, isn't this kind of the Dominator too? Not the Spitfire, but seeing Mike Raven ride the Spitfire, you're like, oh wait, okay, like Spitfire's sick. And that was maybe the board before the Dominator 2.0. But yeah, it's his last video. It's one of his last videos. I'm looking at your videos, Mike. I can't even find it now. But yeah, it's the fastest board ever, Firewire Spitfire. And that's where I can definitely see the MASHUP being like the fastest board ever, because it is like, it's super fast, and that's why it's not good on the best waves. So Migsy's going MASHUP winner. Sweet. When you're flying on the MASHUP and it's like big, you're like, oh crap, you're just like trying to hold on for dear life. I've noticed on the Revo, when it's kind of bigger, it's similar to the Twinsman, where it's, even though it's a twin fin, you don't feel, as long as you have the right twin fins in. Again, these are the Tomo power keels, max keels, and the Twinsman has the NDS. Shout out Naked Viking Surf, love you guys. It has the NDS album collab fin, which is like not a keel fin. This is a keel fin, but it's like a max keel, and it's a whole new world, and it's could be one of my favorite fins for sure. Today really excelled because now you kind of perfect the art of sliding these out how you want, but they don't slide out. They just slide out a little bit, and then you're like locked in. And so it's really good at kind of the roundhouses, or like the roundhouse to re-entry, which today was like heaps of them, and it was awesome. But when you're going really fast on the MASHUP, it's like just the tail so thin, and they're just like, it's like a skimboard, so you're just holding on for dear life. This you can kind of like use the thinness and the width to like stay alive. I see what Migsy has to say. So Migsy says, Revo Max felt exactly like any other 20, to be honest. Ooh, he's not stoked. Was nothing special. Dang. Except rails and tail felt really good, but nothing mind-blowing like the Seaside or the MASHUP or even Seaside or the MASHUP or even Dominator 2. Wow. Dang. So I'm just claiming it, and you're not even that stoked. That's funny. That's interesting, man, because I don't know. Like, for me, it is definitely, I think, a game changer. I am a really heavy front-footed surfer. I don't know if you are as well, but I think that's where it really don't follow me. That's really shines a lot because it wants you to have your feet further up. And again, and someone on my last stream was claiming like I talk crap on pads and there is a pad on here. And yes, there is. I didn't put it on there though. Firewire did. Just so you know, Mr. Troll, but that's okay. I love my haters, as Jordan Belfort would say. Love my haters. And because there's a pad, like when I'm surfing way up here, that's why I hate the pad, because then I'm like, all right, crap, the pad's back there. I gotta like put my foot back, but you really don't have to. You can like do turns and stuff when you're like your back foot's like middle of the board. Whereas on other usually Rob Machado boards, you have to put your foot kind of far back. And that's where like the twin fin and like the wide plane up here for me really excels, because I'm so used to not being a back-footed surfer that I really like the loosest of the twin. Did you ride it with his Max heels, Miggsy? And I hear you just had your first session, so, but that's interesting enough because, yeah, I don't know why I'm so stoked on it and why it's getting so much claim. Maybe because it just looks so different. You said the waves are excellent today. I did feel the Revo Max wanted a wall and a pockety wave. I didn't perform on flat sections. MASHUP flies over and Dominator 2. It felt more like a continuous rocker shape. I can see that, yeah. The Revo Max does like to be like kind of in the pocket. True, that's a good point. The Revo, you got the Revo fins large. Okay, interesting. And you're a little bigger, right? Yeah, because that could be part of it. Like it being, you having the large fins and being like a little more locked in means that it's not going to be as playful as the medium fins, which even today, like it was like chest to head and like really good. It was pretty much trestles. It wasn't trestles, but it was breaking like trestles. And the board was skidding out more than it usually does, but the wave was really clean. And I liked the skid out because it never skid out and then got out of control. It skid out and I perfectly brought it back. Backside as well, which I do consider myself a good backside surfer, and a lot of people have trouble backside surfing on twin fins, but this one in particular has a really nice bottom turn to backside turn, which is tricky on a twin fin because it wants to slide out on the bottom turn. Okay, so you're a quad guy. That might be it too, because I'm not really a quad guy, and when I do ride quads, I find them a little stiff, and I only got used to one quad, and it was like a retro fish. Pretty much like a two fish, but with a super big swallow and a quad, and like a lot of nose. So that is why it took me a while, but then once it clicked, the quad was super fast. I could still turn it good. But I like the pivotness of a thruster, especially when it has like a small swallowtail. So I need to try a quad with this. This is the NVS comp fins. I want to do a live stream or a video about these because these are really cool. These are the mediums, but I never slide out, and I really like how you can like go to 12 o'clock on this thing like it's nobody's business. I mean, compared to the Machado Cotto, the MASHUP is like, it's a skim board. No other Firewire board is unless you're going to do Dominator, like a Kelly shape, is like as nimble as the MASHUP. Miggsy says he's 5'11", 214. Okay, so you're bigger. You're like, I mean, you're like 40 pounds more than me. About an inch taller than me. Okay. You make me feel a little less bad about my weight. Okay. So I think we're all normal weight. It's just I was like skinny for a while there, and I was kind of like pretty stoked on being skinny. I was like 170. I'm 5'10". I was like, all right, I'm like skinny, and then I got fat from Thanksgiving. So, did you go 6'3", Migsy, or did you end up going a bigger one? I can't remember. He says he rides thrusters as well, but for most man shapes, he likes quad. Weird, I know. True that. Well, I hear Dan Mann kind of likes quads more, and I hear that through the grapevine and the internets that this board is like really sick with his quads. Do you use his quads with that? Because I would love that. If anyone wants to send me a pair of quad fins, the Dan Mann MBS quad fins, I do have like a nice little MBS deal. I appreciate MBS for helping me there. But right now, your boy is broke, so he needs all the help he can get. Don't tell anyone that, especially like the life. Dude, your life's great. Your life's great. Life is good. That's a great. I appreciate that, Migsy. Life is good. Life's good. We're talking about surfboards. First world problems is which surfboard do you want, and we have to be thankful to have like a roof over our head and one delicious IPA. So, oh, she went 7-0. I forgot. Oh, she went. That's sick, dude. That's sick. I mean, then you can't even. I feel like that's actually not even a comparison in that regard because that's pretty much a longboard, the 7-0, and I could see where you have to put your foot kind of far back on the 7-0 because it's 56 liters. I would love to try that board, the 7-0. Feels like a 6'8", super thin nose. Yeah, yeah, you're right. The nose is awesome because it's very thin, like you were saying. It's very thin. And we have another. And before I answer you, Surf Dog, and oh sweet, whatever, the little smiley with the giving you some smiles. I had another troll. When you start to get YouTube trolls, I mean you're doing something right. And he was saying that the Revo's trash. Maybe this is you, Migsy. And he was saying one of the reasons it's trash is because the tail is thin. Or he said it needs to be thin. Yeah, I gotta find the comment, but he said the tail. I think he said the tail needs to be thinner. I can find it real quick. Let's see my YouTube studio comments. So we had a troll saying, oh, he said it's junk. It needs thinner tail, rounded pin, too wide nose. So he was saying that it needs a thinner tail. The troll, I'm not going to name his name. And if you're in the chat, thanks. And I know you're just saying what you want. It's fine. I appreciate everyone stopping by. You can't get any thinner than this. I mean, this thing is, unless you're going to go like Machado Cotto thinness, but because of his quad V right here, you can't go that thin because the quad V creates 2 more layers of thinness. So it's like if the whole thing was thinner, like this part, look at how thin this part is. So if this part was thin, then this part would just not even exist. So the tail and the nose is the perfect thickness, I think. That's what makes the board so fun, is it is so thin and refined. Pick up the MASHUP just now. I was like, oh crap, the MASHUP's like thick, like with 2 C's. I was like, damn, MASHUP, like you gained some weight, like your boy. Like right here, the MASHUP actually is relatively thicker, kind of like the Seaside, just less. It's like the Seaside 1.0 and the Seaside's the Seaside 2.0. But the Revo Max doesn't do like the rail goes up gradually. The Revo Max is thin and it stays thin. A lot like a 1990s shortboard, which has the thin rail and it literally just like curves and stays thin the whole way. Which I really like. It's like kind of sweet. Yeah. So Migsy says, and I'll come back to you, Surf Dog. He says, salute, no, not me. Well, thank you. Appreciate you not hating, but please come in and hate when you want. It's all good. The tail is absolutely perfect. I agree. The tail's the sickest part. I mean, it's like, did you put a pad on it? Because I would love to not have a pad. But then it would just be amazing. But the tail is what makes the board. I mean, this is right here is what makes the Revo Max the Revo Max. The nose too, but the nose is the more obvious part. All right, so Surf Dog says, we can't have another falling incident. Surf Dog says, I have some issues with the Tomo keels. I wish they made it in fiberglass. It's a little too flexy for my weight at 205. Riding some Noel Salas HP twins, and it feels like I have more control. True. I was actually thinking that today because I'm an NVS fanboy, and I am kind of a friend of the brand as well. And I mean, their fins are fiberglass, and it's like basically the stiffest, heaviest, hardest fins ever. I think they're the best material of this stuff, and it's fiberglass. It's G10 fiberglass, which I think is just like a name for like super condensed, very stiff fiberglass. And there's not much flex at all, which I kind of agree. Where the Tomo keels, I mean, I do love them. I think they're perfect, but it could be sick to have them in the fiberglass option. Most Firewire fins I've seen, they're going for the more composite, or I guess it's plastic, I'm not sure, but you know, more like composite. You can even tell right now the flex, it's a lot more flexy. Whatever material this is, it's I'm not sure if someone is in the chat what like non-fiberglass fins are made out of, because there's names for them, but I think if it's not fiberglass, it's essentially plastic. But I kind of like that about it because I'm lighter, and I like being able to throw it around. Whereas when I read the album NVS twin fin fins on the twins fin, it's a lot more like kind of a rocket ship that's requires a little more oomph. Surf Dog, if you're still here, if that makes sense, and if you agree or what we have to say about that or whatever. I would love to have in fiberglass, because like there's the Kelly, there's the Endorphin, there's like the Vector fins. Firewire's kind of been killing it with their fins actually. Like they just came out with essentially like 4 new fins in the last 6 months. I think they are all made out of whatever this material is. Maybe we'll look at it really quick, see what it says. It's made out of I'm not really saying what it's made out of. I'm not sure. What are fins made out of? I mean, plastic, right? Unless they're, let's see. Migsy says, I would have liked the Revo Max as a quad or as a 5-fin setup, but not necessary. Yes, I put in a flat pad, 1.5 4 from the leash plug. Cool. Yeah, it is. I mean, for a pad, it's the best pad, I think. And as a non-pad rider, like I do it every now and then, I'm like, oh, the pad feels good. I still am pretty anti-pad, but like it's the best for me because it's not like too bulky, it's not too grabby. I mean, again, like especially once you start wearing booties, because wax is already kind of grippy, and what happens with wax and booties is it's hard to do like little micro adjustments, which to me, that's what happens every time I'm on a traction pad. It's like my foot's on the pad and you can't really move your foot around for little micro adjustments. Or like on a board, like on the MASHUP, you really want to be like moving your foot around a little bit. Some people like to be kind of locked in, but I'm usually moving around the board a little more than most people, I think. Surf Dog says, what other fins do you think would work with the Revo Max? I mean, I think the album Twinsman fins, if you look those up by NVS, because they're fiberglass, so they're going to be kind of what you want a little more, and they're more upright. But the Tomo keels, even though they are keel fins, he's claiming it's like kind of a mix between upright and between keel. I would say, or the Fascination, what is it called? The NVS. Do you guys have Naked Viking Surf in Australia? Oh, Migsy, appreciate it. It's very nice of you. Oh, he's got to go. He's going. My number one fan. Oh no, what do we do without you, dude? He's got to walk the dog, or he'll bite my your ASS. Thanks for not cursing. Got to keep my channel monetized. It's a Kelpie, and he is way too smart to trick him. That's funny. You can't trick him. You can't trick him. He knows. You'll keep me updated. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, dude. Thanks again for stopping by again, and appreciate your 2 cents. It's hilarious that you have. That's hilarious. You have both the boards that we're talking about here, because I think a lot of people could end up with both these boards, because it's like the mashup to me is like, it's kind of become a staple, I think, in a lot of people's quiver. This or the Seaside. It's like they want to have kind of like a grovelly fish board that still can shred. I think the Seaside's the #1 best selling surfboard in the world. That's just Firewire, or if that's besides Firewire. But supposedly it's like a really good seller, and other companies are realizing like you want to market to people that are average surfers. They're going to ride the board. I mean, that's what's kind of funny about the album Fascination fins. Surf Dog, that's the ones I was thinking of too. The NBS album Fascination Apex series. Oh, it's a quad fin set, dang it. There's another one that's kind of a twin fin set, but I would definitely check out Naked Viking Surf and their keel fins, I guess. Yeah, like even there's a bunch, but just having the fiberglass of the NVS, yeah, these are pretty sweet. The NVS Ono Apex keel fin. There's like a sale too on Cleanline Surf right now, but the fins I think that are the best twin fins ever made, until I've tried another one, are the album NVS collab upright twin fin. The actual name is NVS album. It's just NVS album. It's their one collab. It's very upright. It kind of looks like a big like G5, like a standard like AM2 fin. It's kind of on a sweet sale. They're still doing other extended. Cleanline Surf extended their sale. So right there. If any of you guys do any online shopping, Cleanline Surf's sweet. Like I've gotten tons of stuff from them. I'm actually a partner with them as well. So if you ever click any of the links for surf stuff in my channel, it brings you to Cleanline Surf, and it helps me out too. So I appreciate it. But they've been super good to me, and like whenever I need something, like especially a Hyper Freak, because they're like gold, and I need a Hyper Freak, like the Cleanline Surf always has Hyper Freaks for good sales. So I always appreciate that. But let's get back to the verses here, because we've gotten a little off topic. But well, not really. But let's try to do number 3, like the third thing here. And I'm gonna say like the next challenge is gonna be like gravel ability. Which one rides crappier waves better? And I'm gonna straight up say like the Revo Max rides crappier waves better. It's the same reason why it gets into waves faster, is because of the planing hole thing that's going on, and then just the magic of like the thinness and the length. When the wave's really small, a shorter board actually is gonna sometimes have more trouble. That's why, like when you have like a super long board and you're on like a really small wave, you're kind of just like flying. A lot of that is due to the length. Before we all obsessed about volume, you would actually buy a board more so based on the length, in a very, very real way, because you would know if the board was 8 foot, it actually would go better in a smaller wave than a 7 foot board, just because there's more board extension out in front of you. So when you're pushing on your front foot, and because on a small wave you kind of have to Huntington hop, but on a big board you're not really hopping. You're just kind of more so pushing on your front leg and letting the board do the work. More board in front of you is going to go through a softer, slower section, then less board in front of you. And then you add the round nose and kind of the thinness that stays here. It really ends up being like a really good gravity board, especially if you go to the size of some of y'all are going, like the 7 foot and the 6'9". Then it ends up being like pretty much your mid-length replacement, your longboard replacement, your big wave replacement, your small wave replacement, and the only thing you're kind of lacking there is like kind of like a mashup. So now that I think about it, if you oversize the Revo, then it makes more sense to have both of these. But right now with the 6'3 Revo, it actually is like the perfect daily driver. And in the 5'9 mashup, you do have to have a little bit more oomph in the wave on the takeoff. And then it needs to be a little more of a drainy wave. It can't be the slopey, soft wave that the Revo Max actually does really good on. So grovelability, I'm going to give that to the Revo Max. So the Revo Max is up 2. The mashup is up 1. Now material. So like the material the board's made out of, which kind of has more spring, more pop, more fun, which do I like more. What's really funny is I swear even the website and everything's saying that the helium without volcanic is lighter than the ibolic. But picking this board up, this board definitely feels heavier. Like it could be the fins because the NDS fins are so heavy. But picking this board up, I could probably weigh it on a weight machine. But that is it's only 1 liter more. The Revo Max is lighter. Like it has 1 less fin. But they are bigger twin fins. But I don't think the fins are making that much of a difference. So even though I really like helium, the helium material, I'm actually like a huge fan now of the ibolic volcanic material. Even more so than the regular ibolic, because I did get to ride a Revo. So I got to talk to you, Mike Raven, because I rode a Revo, a 5'11", 37-ish liters. And right away I got it because this board is like pretty much it's the Revo Max. But I realized that the ibolic, without like the little bit of stiffness of the volcanic, which is kind of like carbon fiber, it was more like a helium board where it was sick, but it kind of was a little more floaty and a little more not as drivey into the wave surface. What this thing does is, I swear it might even be lighter. Like I know, again, it feels so friggin' light that I believe it's lighter. But it's like it's really, maybe it's also because it doesn't have the wood of the helium. Whatever kind of magic is going on with the foam mixed with this laminate, the volcanic laminate, which is like a basalt cloth, I think, that they pretty much drape over top and then seal. It's like a really nice combo because it's so light, but it doesn't get as affected by typically what happens with the helium board when it's so light that it kind of like wants to kind of lift off and fly away, and it doesn't want to like. The mashup can dig in because it's the mashup and it's like a skateboard, but if the mashup was in volcanic, could be maybe sicker, but I think the ibolic volcanic is actually better than the helium volcanic. They are different, and that's mainly due to the ibolic not having any wood. It has literally a foam stringer, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Like it sounds like a foam stringer. That sounds kind of whack. But actually, whatever it is, it's sick because it's working really good. And it has foam like rails, like super condensed foam. So it's kind of interesting is I thought, well, condensed foam doesn't seem that sick, but one thing it does, it actually is maybe even more flexy than wood. I think it might be slightly better for the environment because you need less wood, essentially. I don't know what the foam's made out of. It might be made out of the same thing as the epoxy. It's literally styrofoam, kind of. let's see what Surf Dog says. So, oh, you're looking at the fins. Cool. Oh, nice. Yep. They have the Album Fascination Twin on the MVS website. Yep, I was just looking at that. Those are sick. I would say even have a go at those. I only saw the quads, but I think the Fascination Twins are what you want. I even put a little thing here. Let's see. MBS Fascin. These are the twin fin, yeah, and they're on sale right now. So those are really sweet because see if I can copy paste it here. Because I really like the NVS material. I think it's properly goated. It's the new king of the castle. And it's funny because they're heavy. And at first you're like, these fins are heavy. Like, this kind of sucks. But then you ride them and you're like, oh, wait, these fins are awesome. Can I paste links in here? See what happens. Oh, it doesn't like that. Oh, I have too many characters. I'm trying to paste a link in here. Once you ride like the NBS material, the G10, like their A+ material, like that's what they kind of claim is their best material. I'm a firm believer in it now, and I think everyone should at least have a go with it because there we go. There's a link for the Fascination ones, Fascination Twins, which I think those are pretty much your best bet to mimic the Tomo keels, but they're fiberglass, they're a lot stiffer. And the MDS material is like, it's out of this world. Oh, sweet, yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. It's like it's funny because you think you're trying to go lighter with stuff, and then the NVS fins are kind of heavier, and you're like, that's maybe why this feels heavier. Let's see what Nick has to say. So the Onos are cool too, yeah. I don't know as much about those. Those are kind of newer. They look a lot more keely, where I would opt for the look into them. See if either it tickles your fancy, but these look like they're keel to the 2, keel exponentially to the 2, because these are nuts looking. And I personally, keels for me, it's like we don't really get along. I kind of like the opposite of keels. For some reason, keels, it's slide out central for me. That's why the Tomos have impressed me a lot, because I didn't think I was going to like them, especially because they're a medium. So Nick, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Let's see, he's 5'11", 205. Oh, nice. You guys are all making me feel like I'm not fat now, because you guys aren't fat, and you guys are. And PHAT, I know you can't say the FAT word anymore or get canceled. So I mean PHAT. But you guys are making me feel about my 5 to 7 pounds I gained over Thanksgiving. Nick says, I can't even read. He's 5'11", 205. We got the 6'6" Revo Max. You're stoked. Loving it. It's almost like it turns itself. Paddle's great. Can trim or pump. There we go. Another convert. I agree. It trims and just goes down the line the best. You're just like, oh, it's just the best. I agree, Nick. I want to try the 6'6". Maybe I can, because I would love to try that before pulling the trigger to lock in the 6'3". We're fluffy, not fat. Yeah, exactly. Fluffy. I'm gonna start saying that. Fluffy. There's like the comedian Fluffy or whatever, or the joke he was making. But yeah, I want to try the 6'6". Part of me is a little nervous because, Nick, I'm curious, your feet, the back of your legs, where do they hang on the 6'6"? Is like is it weird at all when you kick or something weird that your feet want to bang on the back of the board? Or is it actually perfect where your feet hang off perfectly? Yeah, I kind of agree too. I think with a lot of dedicated twins and like the big channel on the Revo Max, not the channel, the the spine. It really acts like a fin. So you pretty much, that's why I don't mind it not having fin slots, because this thing's a fin, this is kind of a fin, this is kind of a fin. Like, it gets really inverted there. And I know a fin does go up a lot, but you have to think that with this thing running the whole way down, and you already having a fin here, this little minute stuff is doing more than you would think. So yeah, so I really like having the dedicated twin, because it's kind of one less thing to have to worry about. It's like, oh, what do I ride it as? Well, you only have one option, twin fin. So I don't really mind that. This is coming from someone who's a pretty new twin fin convert. I just started riding twin fins, like more so probably 3 years ago. Before that, I would never even step on a twin fin. I thought they were skatey, slick, not my style. I was never even interested. But then I got them for the Seaside and Beyond, because the Seaside and Beyond, with the keel fins from Rob, for me, they were way too like locked in, and I didn't like it. I was like, this board isn't, I'm not surfing like Rob. What's going on here? And then I got the Album NBS twin fins. Like, I don't even remember how I got those. I magically was on Cleanline Surf. Somehow I saw them and I just thought, like, those look really cool. Oh, you know why? Because also they market the Album Twinsman fins as like a fin that can go on any board. Where a lot of time twin fins are made for a twin fin board, especially a keel twin fin is supposed to be in a keel fin board. But the NDS Album twin fin is more upright and kind of made, even on their website, it says like this can ride in a short board and it can ride in kind of any board, and that's why I got it. And then I got really lucky because it really saved my Seaside and Beyond and turned it into like a gliding, cruisy machine. And that was like the light bulb went off. And then I only rode that fin in like all my boards for like 2 years, until finally I was like, all right, I gotta like ride another fin now. Like, come on. So Nick says feet are perfect. Oh, sweet. Okay, nice. Okay, awesome. I need to try that then. And you're 205. Okay, so I mean, you're like 25, 30 pounds more than me. So that almost makes more sense that the 6'3" for me probably is perfect. I mean, when I'm paddling around on the 6'3", I'm 175, 5'10". It's pretty much like I'm in the water as much as I'd like. It's almost like perfect. I wouldn't mind it being like 37 liters, just because for me, it's like now it's the Machado Cotto 510 is 37 liters, and I feel like that paddles perfectly. And I like that amount of float. I like being kind of lazy. So, yeah. So Migsy says, to be honest, I felt drive, but not super fast. Yeah, the MASHUP, it's out of control speed-wise. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you're right. True. Good point. The MASHUP's like you're in a race car and like second place is last or whatever from Ricky Bobby, because you're just like flying. The Revo is for sure a lot more cruisy, like a mid-length. True. The Seaside and Beyond might even be a little faster than the Revo. Surf Dog says he's the 6'9". Okay, cool. And do your feet hit the back any weird way, Surf Dog? Because I got a lot of hate, but I made a live stream about my 7.0 Seaside and Beyond has been collecting dust, because one day I realized that my feet kind of have to lay right on the pointy swallowtail, and like if I ever try to kick or do anything, it hits it. And I started having like weird calf cramping problems. So now I take like LMNT. I'm addicted to LMNT now and magnesium. But I was realizing that having to keep my feet up on the Seaside was kind of hurting the issue, because it's like kind of having to keep your leg up in a weird position and not letting your foot flex down naturally. So it was like kind of keeping my legs up, and like I have to be super conscious of where my feet are. And it's just me being 5'10" and the board being 7'0". It's like they rest perfectly on the two pointy swallowtail points. And it's like, ah, crap. And people don't really talk about that. That's kind of interesting. So I was like, do a live stream about it. And it actually has a lot of views and a lot of feedback, but it's interesting how people are just like, yeah, just bring your legs up. When you're riding a mid-length board, it's because you're like old and worn out. Like the last thing you want to do is have to worry about bringing your legs up and down. That's why the 8.0 Varga board, 8.0 Fun board, is awesome because I just have my feet laying on the board. And that's ideal because then you're just like, you're not going to kick because your feet are resting on the board, and it's like you get the rest while you paddle. So you either need to have your feet off the board and maybe kick a little bit, or just not have to have your feet extended and held. And there's a weird 6'9" to 7'2" range where if you're a certain height, you just got to be wary of that until it's too late. You're in the water and you're like, oh, when I kick, my foot crams on the pointy swallowtail. If that makes any sense. I know, like, sounds kind of weird, but if anyone's ever even had that happen to them. So Nick rides the 5'8" Machado Kato Suite. See, that's funny, is the 5'10" is like, I want to go smaller. Migsy says, correct. Yeah, I agree. Surf Dog says, sometimes I've been missing the sweet spot, but it's getting better the more I surf it. True, I've noticed that as well. For me, it's been kind of like, because now I'm wearing booties, and I'm in that like that switch over stage where you're like, my feet are kind of sticking and I can't move them as perfectly. And it's like, oh, I need to like, the board is longer, so you have to kind of be a little more perfectly positioned than a shorter board. So that's one part about the Revo Max. It's a little tricky, is we all got used to riding smaller boards, and now it's like, all right, here's a board that's kind of more 1998 Aki's riding. And you're like, oh, now my feet have to be like kind of in these exact spots. And then it's a little trickier for sure. I mean, if booties on, your booties get stuck a little bit on the wax. It's hard. It's like a big traction pad. Migsy's asking Surf Dog a question. How does your board, oh, you're able to tag him. Cool. How does your board feel a bit smallish somehow? If you know what I mean, which I think is a good thing. Does your board? Oh, you're asking about the Revo Max 6'9". I can see that because I can see the 6'3". It's like every now and then I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I had the 6'6". But then when I'm up and shredding, it's like, oh, I like not having any more nose. There's already so much nose here. But yeah, Jackson S says, how does the MASHUP compare to the CI Pod Mod and Torque Construction? Good question. Let me give you a little heart. You like 5 hearts and some party emojis. Well, okay, so I feel bad, but what's your skill level? Because I'm unfortunately pretty anti-torque these days because I had the 6.2 torque pod mod, and I've had heaps of pod mods, and I've always loved them. But that board for me, it just didn't work that well, and I think it was because of the torque material. But if you're like an intermediate or below, I think it actually is like the best board to get because it's a little cheaper. You can beat it up. It's not going to get like ruined. It has the classic shape, which every other board's now copying. I mean, yeah, the MASHUP wouldn't exist without the pod mod. And they don't make the pod mod anymore in PU or anything else but torque. So I think it still is a great option unless you like really in the pocket up-down surfing. That's the only way because it stays thick and the torque material is very floaty. Yeah. So, oh wow, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is what it's all about. It's all about the chat, the live stream. This is why you live stream, right? To talk to people around the world. It's pretty cool. We can all kind of share a fun little niche. But if that helps you, Jackson, I mean, let me know your height and weight in which you were thinking. Because, okay, you're talking now. Because, okay, let me answer these other guys quick. Mickey said, yes, it does feel like a mid-length for waves, a bit more kick power. Definitely not a groveler. Mm-hmm. Makes you the board definitely surfs a lot shorter than. Yes, I agree. I agree because the 6'3", it's like I wouldn't really want it any smaller. Like I'm not like, oh, I wish it was smaller. It actually ends up being sweet for paddling, especially. Never standing up because you can just paddle, like put your hands here, and then it's like you love having it. Like you're not like, oh, I wish this wasn't here. Like this is the best part because you can really just go and like walk up here. You can hang 5 on this thing for sure. So it's the best part is the length of it, which is funny because it's counterintuitive to the surf industry, which has been going smaller and fatter. He kind of went longer and thinner, which no one has really done lately. It's all about it. And if you extend a mid length, it's going to still be fat and thick. And if it's thin, it's going to be thin at the nose and tail. But they want to keep the volume thick in the middle. But because you don't go up like this, you can't keep the volume up here. There's volume here, here. So it's a really interesting, and riding it just kind of proves you're like, oh wow. So I mean, I'm claiming that most surfboards will look more like this in 5 years, just because it's actually more like the first surfboard ever invented, or one of them. It was like the Alaya or whatever. It was like the wooden board that was like that, and then that at the bottom, there's a piece of wood. But like a snowboard, you would think that, oh, this will plane through water better than a pointy nose. It's probably why wakeboards are like that. There's a lot of technology around the hull shape, which this whole thing's around, which I was looking into, and it was super interesting because I didn't know anything about it. And now I'm like a total convert. So I got to catch up to the chat here, though. So Jackson, so you say you're intermediate Lake Michigan. Okay, you're the man. You're brave. Can never do that. If I go below 55 is like my limit now. You have the same 6'2" pod mod. Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's the one I had. Just curious because the pod mod seems to bog when the waves are mushy. Okay. Yep, that's kind of what's happening to me too. You're 6'1", 212. So you're heavier. Yeah, to be honest, that's always happening to me. Like I'd be riding like these bigger, softer waves, and the pod mod 6'2", yeah, would bog exactly. I'd like try to turn, and it would bog. Then I'd have to like work really hard to turn it. And I did have these MDS fins in there, so that might have not helped having like the stiffest, hardest fins. When I wrote it as a 2+1, it did loosen it up, but the pod mod, it was never really designed as a 2+1. It was like kind of before the days that was cool. And quad always felt like way too much fin, so like tri-fin for me was always the best. The AM2, AM1 template pod mod. But yeah, I think when you go bigger on the torque pod mod, that's what happens. Is it ends up being kind of more boggy. Whereas I always rode the 510 pod mod. I got the 6'2", I was like, oh, I just want to get like a mid-lengthy pod mod. But then it just didn't ride at all like I thought it was gonna ride. So I did sell it. Luckily, I sold it to someone coming down from a longboard, and he told me like this board's perfect for me. So I was stoked, and that's where I think the pod mod torque fits perfectly. Is like when you're coming up from your wave storm, maybe, and you ride the 7.6 fun board, and now you're ready for a short board. That's where like the torque pod mod is like perfect. And I even saw one today. I saw a torque pod mod we were talking about. And I was like, hey, that board's sick. And he was like, yeah, I love this board. So I'm stoked it's still around. I just wish Almeric would just remake it in PU, and I don't know why they don't. I mean, it just kind of happens. Boards go away and new boards get made, but they have the G Skate, which to me it looks like the pod mod, but it's actually way less volumed. The G Skate, like the 510 G Skate, is 32.2 liters. The 510 pod mod's 35.2 7 or 8 liters. So they're kind of like the G skate. They kind of went too small with it. It's like it's only 19 and 5/8. The G skate at 5'10. The pod mod's like, what's the pod mod 5'10? So the 5'10 pod mod is 20 and 7/8, 2 and 5/8. So I don't know why they I mean, they pretty much made the G skate, which to me it looks like a pod mod. It's exactly like a pod mod, but they thinned it out and they made it just less gravelly. So it sucks because now there's not really a Channel Islands fish that replaced the pod mod. So it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Yeah, so Jackson, I mean, for you, I would say the 6'6" Revo could be really sick. I think your weight's perfect for it. Would you sell the the MASHUP? Oh, for you, I would actually say stay away from the MASHUP. Stay far away. I would say for you, Jackson, your perfect board. Anyone can guess? It's right there, the Seaside. The original Seaside is like that. I would say, Jackson, you should go. Initially, I'm saying 6'0" Seaside. I'm just checking on the leaders is. Yeah, you could go 5'11" Seaside, 5'11" or even 6'0". I mean, the waves you're surfing are like you're surfing Great Lakes. It's like how often you get to surf it, and you're wearing heaps of rubber. You don't want to go too short because then that means more of your body's in that freezing water. So it's not bad to have more length. I think the Revo Max could be a great option, actually. I mean, actually, you could even go, I think 6'6" Revo Max or Seaside, 6'0". Final answer. Migsy says, I've waxed all the way to the Firewire beginning of the logo. Oh, yeah. Oh, yep. That's what I do. Oh, that's a great move, actually. Never thought about that. That's how to know where to wax it. Never even thought about that. Revo Max, I'm even going right here. I'm going a little bit above. That's a great idea, though. I've always like, where do I stop waxing? Top of the Firewire logo. Perfect. Yeah, I agree. I've just heard the Seaside. In your skill level, it's like the twin fin is like it's just a little more nuanced of a ride. It's hard for me to gauge like an intermediate. You said an intermediate skill level, but in like typical terms, it's like always a little more challenging to ride a twin fin as an intermediate because you have to do a lot more work than the fins do. Where the Seaside, you have a quad fin, and I would just get the Rob Machado quads, and like you're gonna have a ton of drive and hold, which is what you want right now in your skill progression. You don't really want a board that's too like slidey. The Revo Max is a little slidey, which you like when you get better because you can push it around. But when you're still learning, you actually want hold and drive and stability. Yeah. Migsy also says 51. Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you, sir. He shows the Revo Max is a mid-length, but I don't think it feels that purpose. You need to move that board most of the time. Do you agree? Excuse me, Travis. Please correct me. You need to move the board most of the time. Here's what I've chosen the Revo Max as a mid-length, but I don't think it fits that purpose. You need correct. Yes, correct. Yeah, that's why I don't think it's a the Revo Max is for beginner intermediates. It's for I think it's for experts because the Revo Max wants to be moved around. It doesn't want to like stand up and you're just like the Seaside will do that more. So I agree. Yeah, will do that more than the Revo Max. An oversized Seaside will ride more like a mid length than an oversized Revo Max. Because you're gonna stand up here on the Revo Max, Jackson. What's gonna happen is like there's not enough fin, and then the board's so big that like it's not gonna really do exactly what you want because you're not gonna be like moving your feet around a bunch. Your feet are gonna be kind of planted, and you're just gonna move your body and the board around. So unless you're in that stage where like you wouldn't mind having expert, that's my problem. unless you're it's funny because also I feel like people sometimes overestimate their skill level. Like I've been serving pretty much 30 years in a couple months. And I definitely would say I'm like an expert, but there's like plenty of people way better than me that are like boosting airs and like I've hit a plateau in my progression, but I am surfing the best I've ever surfed in my whole life. But I'm not like trying new tricks and like I got like my staple of tricks that I do and I do them well and it's like it's all good. But I'm not like adding new like flips and like I don't even go for like crazy airs anymore. But what I notice a lot of people on the beginner level, you might think you're better than you are, not to be weird about it, but it's like it's not like a race to ride like whatever board. I wouldn't recommend them either of these boards actually for like beginner slash intermediate, maybe intermediate slash advanced. But I would say Seaside or Machado Cotto over MASHUP any day. Um, especially in like cold, windy, freezing conditions of small waves. Um, the the MASHUP's like a summer board. It's like a go watch like some of Kevin Schultz. Actually, you know what? You should get the sweet potato. That's your best bet. Like 5'8" to 5'10" sweet potato. I completely forgot about that board. Which I do have a review coming. It just I need to edit it, and editing is the bane of my existence. But I have like a bunch of footage shot, a bunch of stuff shot. I had the 5'10" sweet potato, which is mega oversized. It's 45 liters. But my goal is to replace the Seaside and Beyond with a very small growler board. The 7-foot Seaside and Beyond is the same liters as the sweet potato 5'10", which is insane to think about. But the sweet potato is like a really unique sick board. It's like one of a kind. Okay, cool. Like the sweet potato is a board that everyone needs to try once because it really makes you realize like how volume works, how when you squeeze a board and compress it, like yeah, it can be sick, but it's pretty much maxed out in what it is. And you realize it's kind of like the mashup and the waves get too big, you're like, the board's not working anymore. Why? The sweet potato has a similar problem, but it's almost like the torque pod mod. It bogs. I feel like I'm skilled enough where for me it actually I like it when it's kind of bigger. The only problem I'll have is I slide out or maybe like I slide out because I like it with the 2+1. But if you have like a quad with the sweet potato, so my final answer is for you 5'10" sweet potato, 6.0 Seaside, or 6.0262 Machado Cotto. That's my final answer, Regis. on the board. But yeah, so let's get back to some more pros and cons. Now we're in overtime. We're going for an hour and 15. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. We got 17 people watching. That's pretty cool. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. If you can just smash subscribe, hit like. Let me know in the comments or in the chat which board you prefer the MASHUP or the Revo Max. I'm a Revo Max convert now. My poor MASHUP is like old news, like whatever, get out of here. But oh, you're welcome, Jackson. Thank you. You're welcome. Hundreds. Sweet potato is awesome. Sweet potato is awesome. I would definitely try that too, Jackson. So yeah, so hopefully those help you out there and you can figure it out from there. But yeah, let's keep going. We're in overtime. Let's keep it riding. I have the Ulanzi fans on the ZV1, so hopefully we'll just, I'm not going to jinx it, but we'll keep churning away with the best camera ever created. But the next comparison I wanted to kind of do, what was the fin? So, the MASHUP, it does come with a lot more fin options, which is pretty sick. Especially if you're not a twin fin addict like most of us are now. It has 5 fins, so really you can go quad, tri-fin, or 2+1. And that's pretty sick because that's 3 different options. On the Revo Max, you only get 1 option, and that's twin fins. So if you don't like twin fins, the Revo Max, it just isn't for you at all, and it's case closed. I kind of like the twin fin dedicated board because it takes away a lot of decision making, which I am not good at making decisions. But it kind of opens up a new world too of trying different twin fins, and the fins are set where they're supposed to be. If you run a 2+1 in the MASHUP, these fins actually are a little more up than they should be. A true twin fin actually would probably be more like here and here, a little more down. But they want to kind of appeal to a masser audience, so the twin fin will work in this, but ideally these 2 front fins could be a little further back for a true twin fin. But what I really like though is I love the standard thruster setup, and when you ride the MASHUP, what you feel is the classic pod mod shit feel. You feel the drive, you feel the flow. That thruster setup that we all know and love, you get to experience that, or the quad setup. I hear Dan Mann actually suggest to ride it as a quad, and because it's part of the seaside, I think that it probably should be a quad as well. I just need to try some. So if anyone wants to hit the PO box to America, send me the Dan Mann quad fins. I would love to try those. Oh, you have the potato. So Migsy says he has the Potatonator 6.4. It works really well. Few years on storage at the moment. I should bring it back out. That's awesome. There's a bunch of iterations now of the sweet potato, and so that one's pretty old because I know there was the baked potato, the twice baked. Was that the first ever one? The first one was the Chum Lee, I think. The Chum Lee was definitely one of those as well. But I was kind of sleeping on Firewire for a bit because it was back when they more so had the plug. If you guys remember the plug, you were supposed to do something on an airplane with it, and they were still disrupting the market with their epoxy technology, and they pretty much made epoxy mainstream at a time where it was a sea of PU boards. And it was a lot of them were the wood. They had the wood look. It was the Timber Tech at first. So they kind of hadn't really figured it out. I think with the first Helium was when they really were all right, here's epoxy and it's lighter and it's more durable, and people are finally, oh wow, this isn't too much of a sacrifice. Some people actually kind of like it. And now you look at the market and there's tons of epoxy boards. There's all different. Now they're doing some stuff with flax laminate. And in the end, epoxy is just a better alternative. I think epoxy is essentially styrofoam. For some reason, it's a little less bad than PU foam. If anyone is an expert in chemistry here, it's more affordable, less prone to yellowing. That's a AI typo. Yeah, AI is blowing it. Don't know what I was talking about. But the potato nader. Oh yeah. Oh cool. Yeah, yeah. Oh whoa. No way. That's really a board. The sweet potato and the Dominator. That's sick. I know. I think the let's see what he's saying. The potato nader. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, the 6.156 liters. That sounds sick. That sounds sick. People are looking for it. Oh yeah, I remember that board. I think my friend has this board. Okay. Wow. That's like a mashup because it has the pointy nose, but then it kind of gets wide at the back half. That board's really cool. Yeah, and so that's the technology I used to have. It was, or that's the TimberTech. But even there might have been something before TimberTech, like the Firewire plug. Let's see what this says. Firewire plug. Yeah, so I'm looking at a Firewire right now, and it used to have like the plug, if anyone remembers. This little like air plug thingy, and then somehow, yep, there it is. Somehow it kind of like regulated the vacuum sealing compression or something, but when you flew, supposedly the pressure would get so bad that it would kind of like you just needed a little release of the laminate over the epoxy. So you would kind of like push or pull or something. I never had one of the boards, but it was interesting. This is like 10 years ago too, so it's kind of funny how they've come full circle now, and now they're making boards with, no stringer or a foam stringer. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, TimberTech. Migsy says, they got the potato nader TimberTech, not flexi. Blend. Yes, like the mashup of blend. Yeah, for sure. Blend of two boards. They like to do that. Yeah, the TimberTech. I think they're making away with it because like the last boards I've seen were the Seaside and Beyond when they were doing the LFT still. And then now I think their alternative to TimberTech is kind of the volcanic lamination. So now it's like, I think their new move, is the helium with just kind of this like skin, or the volcanic skin that is going to be as good as the TimberTech, but lighter and nowhere near as stiff. I'm super glad I didn't get the TimberTech Seaside and Beyond because it looks beautiful, but I could definitely tell it was like gonna be like a boaty, like crazy thing. So I don't know if TimberTech's staying or not, but it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with it. Oh, my boy Sam's back. So Sam says, volcanic 5.2 sweet potato or volcanic 6.56 mashup. Let's see. I mean, right away, it depends on the waves you're surfing, but I would say the sweet potato is what I would say. That'd be my vote. If any of, yeah, too stiff. I agree, Migsy. Stiff as a board. Well, it is a board, I guess. It's made out of wood. But I would say for you, Sam, I'm in Hawaii. Ooh, now you're making me rethink that. Oh, I remember that. You're in Hawaii. Do you surf V-Land, you were saying? What size are you? That's a tiny 5.6 mashup. Lasts forever, but it's a boat. Yeah, it's his Bodie. I mean, yeah, it lasts forever though. You're right. Lasts forever. Well, what waves are you gonna be surfing in Hawaii, Sam? That's tricky. Let's see, mashup. Well, the mashup doesn't do they both don't do good and big waves. The mashup will do a little better. So you're looking 30 liters or 5.2 sweet potato is 30. Oh, so the same liters. Okay. Interesting. That's a hard one. If you're in Hawaii surfing like Hawaii waves, I mean, I'd probably say mashup. If you're surfing like Waikiki, I would say sweet potato. Okay. Northwest, South turn Oahu. Okay. 5'11", good day, 170. Okay. So we're similar size. Okay. I mean, okay. No, you're like Tomo size. Okay. I mean, both are sick options. Like that, you're in the right track there. Where I think they'll be different enough. Like the sweet potato is definitely more of like a mega groveler. The mashup is kind of like a good wave board. So if you're going to be surfing good waves more that have top to bottom, mashup. But if it's going to be a rolly Waikiki, not Waikiki, but like a rolly wave that's not throwy top to bottom, then sweet potato. Where I live in California, it's like a lot of more rolly waves, so the sweet potato for me would actually be better. Oh, sweet, yeah. Yeah, the rentals, I mean, yeah, I would 100% do that. Definitely. And just kind of see, because the sweet potato surprised me. Like it's a super fun board. And it kind of actually is like the mashup. Now that I think about it, it has a similar tail where the tail does this thing. There's like a little indentation here and here. It's and then it gets kind of thin. So it almost has a very similar tail to the mashup. But then it changes as you get up here and it becomes more of a platform and then like a and it probably has a little less rocker, but it has enough rocker where I'm not nosediving too much on the sweet potato. But it's pretty much like a mashup on steroids now that I really look at it. But the nose I do like more on the sweet potato. The mashup nose for me, I wish it was a little wider. Just for some more paddling power. Yeah. So I would say try them first. Try before you buy, and then kind of go from there. Sam said, I've heard and seen some guys rip on the potato even at churns and Lonnie's. Yeah. I mean, once my sweet potato review comes out, which I'm working on, it's I actually got it in like pretty good waves, like waist to chest. There's a few clips on my channel that show me surfing it, but like I got better waves on the sweet potato review that I'm making than like the Machado Cotto, even like my Twinsman. It's like kind of like maybe even the Revo Max. Like it's kind of some of the better waves I got recorded, which is hilarious because it's like the most grovelly board ever. But there was kind of good waves. So, and the endorphin fins, I would say, try that. Sam, try the endorphin 2+1 with the bigger trailer. That was like the money. I tried a few fins actually with the sweet potato, and I had them in the review. But the sweet potato endorphin 2+1 is like sweet. It's awesome. The endorphin fins are amazing. So Jackson was asking, ever ridden a Roberts board, famous for his white diamond model, but now they have some grovelers that look really cool. A Roberts board. Let's see. I don't think I have. Oh, cool. Oh, that's the Roberts? Yeah, I've seen these. I've never ridden one. Never ridden a Roberts board, but I've definitely seen these around. They look sick. It's like a little rocket ship. Yeah, the biodiesel thruster is a sick looking shape. That's an amazing looking shape. See, he's 1990s. It's 5'10", 29.4 liters. That's the good old days. Yeah, no, those are sick. Miggsy was saying that he found the MASHUP to be a more small wave gravel than the Dominator too. 100%, yeah. Yeah, I've never ridden a Dominator, but just looking at them and feeling them, the Dominator is like a board that, for me, it's like I don't even need that in my quiver. Like the MASHUP for me is my short board. Even like Mike Raven, shout out, like he has a sea of Dominator type boards that are, he can't even really give them away. I mean, not Dominator is more a little more full and not as shortboardy, but it's getting there. The 2.0 is definitely like a little fuller in the middle sections and by the nose. And it's actually not the most least volumed out. I mean, the 511's 34 liters really. And back in the day, my shortboard was 511. And that was before they had liters, but it was probably around that. Because you used to buy your board based on its height. That was like the number one thing, was you had a 5'10 or a 5'11. You didn't even know. They didn't ever even put the liters on there. Simpler times. But yeah, it's hour and a half. I guess we got fans in the chats. Keep it going here. The audience is participating. I appreciate it. We have 14 people watching. Thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated. You can smash like, hit subscribe. It is appreciated. It helps the channel. If you want some clean line gear, hit the links in the chat or in the description, and I'll bring you the clean line. And then the cookies gets me the monies. So it's also appreciated because I gotta get the money to buy more fancy vests like my Koto Paxi vest and more Waterloos. But yeah, so the winner of the fins, I would say that the winner, like the fin setup, actually is a MASHUP because you get more options. And most people want to have more options with fins. They don't want to be restricted to only the 2 slots. And before I got the Album Twinsman, I was the same way. I was like, well, I want 5 fins. Why not? And I think that's most surfboard manufacturers make it 5 fins to appease everyone because some people want tri, some want quad, some want twin. Why limit a board to only 1 fin setup? Exactly why. Oh damn, Miggsy's claiming the Dominator 1 was a dog. Worst board I've ever owned. Twice, for real. The tail performed like a VW Beetle car. Okay, wow, so I'm not too far off there. The Dominator 1. I can't even find the Dominator 1. I mean, it's probably so old. Dominator 2's been out for a while now, I think. Oh wait, here's one. Oh wow, the Dominator had a round tail. I prefer the shape of it more. I do like round tail shortboards, but yeah, that was back in the day where it had the Timber Tech essentially. Yeah, I can. Yeah, it's that's when it was way more shortboardy. Like they definitely Firewires realized like the mass consumer wants more foam. Shortboards are out. It's 20 years old, and now it's like you want more foam up here because if you can't paddle around and catch a wave, then you're not gonna surf the waves. It doesn't even matter how good you can surf if you can't catch the waves. Yeah, don't do it. I won't. I have no No want to ride the Dominator. My few boards that I'm hoping to get here soon for some testing are the Two Fish, the the Two Fish. That's like the main thing I've ridden, and like I would like to get a Seaside for extended time. Machado Cotto. Machado Cotto somehow came out swinging like it's an instant classic. That shape. Oh, nice, yeah. Mickey said he bought a Spitfire. Problem solved, but then he sold it. Yeah. Oh, you sold your Spitfire. I don't know. Mike Raven wouldn't like that because Mike Raven's claiming the Spitfire is the fastest board ever, and his video is amazing. If you guys to check out Mike Raven, go watch him. He's amazing, and he has a bunch of boards, and he has the Revo, he has the Evo, he has the Spitfire. So he has like the Firewire quiver, like the older quiver too. And even he's realizing that once Firewire kind of started making boards like the MASHUP and the Sweet Potato and there's less Kelly Slater type boards. That's what's funny because we have Ari. If you guys know Rob Kelly, he's on Firewire. So if you YouTube Rob Kelly, he's in New Jersey, and his recent Winter Essentials video. I keep doing this. His Winter Essentials video was a lot of the Kelly shapes or the more shortboard standard shapes. Whereas if you watch Kevin Schultz's Winter Essentials, it's like all the gravelly board shapes. So it's funny, just even where you live depends on the board you ride. And New Jersey is definitely not as consistent as California, but when it gets good, it's a lot more top to bottom, a lot more barrely. Where a board like Kelly Slater works better. But in California, unless you're surfing Mavericks or a random really good hollow day, for the most part, a lot of California waves are kind of slopey and slower, whereas you want more foam and you want more of a Rob Machado board. It's funny looking at the Kelly Slater boards versus Rob Machado boards. They're very different. And even Firewire is you kind of notice when you look at a Kelly board that's a mid-length, or even his Great White Twin. It's not over volumed at all. It's very thin. It's very light. I think Kelly rides a 20. I don't know if he rides 27, but it might be 29. He might ride a 27 liter board, Kelly Slater, a 50-year-old man riding a board that I would sink somehow. Yeah. So REG says, what do you think of the best board for someone 200 pounds coming from a 7.3 Sunday twin fin, surfing Los Angeles mostly? I'm 6 foot, failed on a 5.8 40-liter Sweet Potato. Interesting. Pound 7.3. Did you try a bigger Sweet Potato? Did you buy the Sweet Potato and then get trapped, or did you try it? Because you're 6 foot, you're already so tall, whereas that board's so small, where it's you want to have a board that's at least your height. Bought and sold. Okay, bought and sold. Bummer, but we'll help. In your stage, it sounds like you're in the. What's your skill level, you'd say? Because you're coming from a 7.3 Sunday twin. So it is a twin, which makes me think you're pretty good. But it's hard to go super shorter than you when you're in that stage, because you end up having to arch your back when you're paddling. You stand up and your front foot wants to push the board in, so you don't know where to put your feet. Because you're not used to, on a board like the Sunday, you can have your front foot more up here, and it's not going to dig in the nose as much. So the Sweet Potato, even though it's super maxed out the volume, it's shorter. So when you push on the front, unless you're like evenly distributing your weight, it's gonna still nosedive. So you don't have to go that far down. So I would say 6'2" Seaside or 6'2" Machado Cotto. Is what I would say. Yeah, I would say 6'7" 3". You're 6 foot. How much? You're 200. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say 6'2" Machado Cotto. Write this down too. Because you don't want to be sinking. Like you're coming from the 7'3" Sunday. Yeah, 6'0" or 6. That's what I would say. Problem is, you said you grew up skateboarding. Problem is catching waves, proper positioning. When I'm up my feet, whipping it on the foamy and not as hardcore on the Sunday. I lift weights, so pretty dense. Okay. What's a 7'3" Sunday? That's a lot of board. That's what, 50 something liters? Let's see. Yeah, 56 liters. So yeah, so you're coming from a 56 liter board that's long. You're making pretty much like you're in that really hard zone in surfing where like you're getting good enough where you're like, all right, now I want to ride a smaller board, but you made the mistake everyone does, which we all do. You went too small, and then it's like a skim board, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? Oh, I cursed. YouTube, don't demonetize me. So now you just need to, you bought and sold, so it's all good. So now you need to recorrect and add some more length. And add a little bit of more liters. I mean, there's no rush to like get to your proper liters, quote unquote. Like I never listen to those size charts and liter charts. You just want to figure out like what you like riding the most. If there's a Firewire demo, I would definitely hit that up. And with a lot of their newer models, some people say you need to be scared of a little oversized, but I disagree. I think oversizing is not a bad option, especially when you're coming down from like a long board or like a mid-length board. The Revo Max could be a decent option, especially if you went bigger. But why do you want to go smaller? Like, what's your goal? What's your goal? You said, yeah, you're 37 liters. Open my eyes. I did the size chart, and it said 40 liters for intermediate. Okay, copy that. Yeah. Yeah, true. So it's a challenge. I mean, I'm surprised it even said that. I would think it would say even smaller or even less liters because. Oh, true. Okay. Well, how old are you? Do you mean grow into it skill wise, or do you mean grow into it like yeah, performance wise? Because what's all good? You gave it a try, and what I think the sweet potato is, you might have not skill wise. Okay, you might have not blown it too much with like the liters. It might have been just because the sweet potato itself is like it's so short. It ends up like I rode the 510 sweet potato, so that's my reviews coming out as the 510, which is, and I'm 25 pounds less than you, and I don't even really have any desire to go 5'8". Like I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like the 510's 45-ish liters, and I was like, what do I gain by going smaller? Like maybe maneuverability, but I had the 2+1 endorphin fin. So for me, it was like I was already kind of sliding out a little bit. Like you just lose paddle power and get into the wave sooner and speed. Yeah, I mean, and again, like I wouldn't. He says 47 liters says beginners, intermediates. I want to catch a lot of waves and learn to surf like you, honestly. I love your style. Wow. I got to give you some hearts. Thank you so much, man. It's really nice of you. Thank you. Well, spoiler alert, I've been surfing for 30 years. So. But not surfing style is funny because you can't kind of perfect your style until you get like good enough to really even know how to change your style. But a lot of it comes down to like watching video of yourself because then you can kind of course correct. I mean, one thing I used to do a lot is I kind of had my front arm. I still kind of do it like this, like a praying mantis. So now I'm a little more conscious of having my front arm up because I'll kind of do like this. Or I can't remember. It's one of the arms. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's like, why don't you have your hand like this? And watching videos helps you see like, oh, I need to bring this up. And a major thing people do is like they don't bend their knees, they bend over like that. So even like bending your knees more than bending your torso is like a huge tip because it's kind of like skateboarding where you're bending your knees. But when you're surfing, it's a lot easier to get locked into weird habits. And there's so much going on where it's like hard to think about style when you're in like that stage of your progression. But thanks a lot. And it's good to, you made my day. Made my day. It's good to think about that as you're getting better. And having a bigger board is going to help your style because your goal should be to surf like me or like Rob Machado or like a mid-length surfer. You don't want to be surfing like Philip Toledo or Italo because the goal isn't to become like a wild, crazy surfer. You want to like slow down, let the board do the work. So here Miggsy's chiming in. He says, I think the Revo Max is designed exactly to the waves Tomo. Daniel Thompson shows in his promo video Lennox head. It's firing Lennox head, yeah. Lennox head, pockety waves like a snowboard half pipe or snowboard with good angles. 100%. And that's what today was like. Today was like Lennox head for me, but it wasn't barreling. But it was exactly what the Revo Max wants. It wants like kind of a softer lip, a nice pocket, and not breaking like super fast or super slow, like just right, like Goldilocks. And cleaner the better. I mean, it can handle chop, but exactly right. No, I agree. I agree, Miggsy. Like that, like it likes waves like that more than it likes fast low tide waves. That's why it's like not that bad having both the MASHUP and the Revo Max because they really do prefer waves differently. The Revo Max is like just a better daily driver just due to I think it grovels a little better because most people we undersize the MASHUP. Sam is a something says 5'2" potato was another this or this. Oh wow. Or 5'6" Machado Cotto. Well, for Hawaii, I would say Machado Cotto all day. That you should do that actually. That's your final answer actually. Don't go. I would say not. Don't let me go MASHUP. 5'6". No. 5'6" Machado Cotto is lit, as the kids say. Oh yeah, that'd be perfect for you. You get one more extra liter, Sam, and if you get Rob's fins, those will be perfect for Hawaii because they're actually not the loosest things ever. They have a good bit of hold, which I would think you would want. So yeah, I would definitely go that. Yeah, so lit. Just lit. Super lit. Yeah, the Machado Kata is like definitely a really sick board because it's pretty much the sweet potato mixed with the mashup, some seaside, and then it's. I like how he went with the tri fin setup because Rob Machado's shapes are. He seems to be like in the quad a lot, and I think when he went with the 2+1, he was like he has the two fish, he has the seaside. It's like he needed like a tri fin kind of board, but people want twin fins, so he kind of made the best of both worlds. And I think what the Machado Kato is, it's like a little better for a daily driver than something like a two fish, where I think you might end up when it does get a little bigger, getting a little too slidey. I've only ridden the two fish once, but I definitely noticed that it's like it's a slidey machine. Ari, hopefully we answered your question a little bit. I think the options I gave you are your best bet. Because you're already on. I mean, the Sunday 7.3 is like pretty sick. I mean, I was for a while trying to get a 6.4 Sunday. But I think Firewire is actually discontinuing Sundays. They're popping up less. And I think it's just not. It seems to have. It's in a weird thing. It's almost kind of like the Revo Max, where the Sunday is marketed as a mid-length, but then they have like the 6.0 and the 6.3 shape. And because it's kind of a round tail, it's like kind of made for better waves, but it's a twin fin and it's kind of not really. It's. I thought it'd be a lot sicker than. I still haven't ridden the Sunday, but I would love to try one. But I think they are phasing out of the thing. Migsy says he can't wait to try the Revo Max with different fins. Oh, sick! Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. It's like, I mean, I would like to try the large fins, but I don't know what I would gain from that. And have I tried? You know what? I did try the album twin fins in here, and it was nice. But really, like lately, when Firewire's been doing a fin board combo, it's like I've always had the most luck with the fins that come with the board. And I don't even think it's really too much of a marketing thing. I mean, it's kind of nice to have like a pair of fins that are an offer that you know are going to at least work well, as opposed to like using your go-tos or just trying to scour the internet. Like, what fin should I get? It kind of erases a little bit of an extra decision to make after you've already had to buy a $1 million board. I'm eating hearts. Yay. I'll get party signs. Oh, nice. Ari said, thanks, bro. I'm going to aim for your suggestions. Cool, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope that kind of works out for you. Again, for you, it's like you, in the end, it's like it's really hard to get the board perfect. It's like it's going to be a little too big or a little too small, at least what I've realized in the end. Like, I'd always rather have a little bit more board than less board, because like you're just saying, like you want to paddle, catch waves. There's no reason, especially if you're not Italo, to have more paddle power to catch waves. Sam, I'm going 5.6 Machado Kato is for you. Maisie said, I'm absolutely convinced try a bunch of different fins will make a hell of a difference. Maybe I'm tripping or in denial because I've spent a lot of money on this weird board. You've only ridden it once. Give us some more chances. Give it Give it another day. It is a very weird board. I agree. I'm used to riding bigger boards that are longer. So if you're not used to that, that's where it can bite you. I've noticed it takes people a little bit of time on a mid-length to get used to it, especially when they are expecting it to be like something else. But I mean, I would try different fins for sure. I mean, it's like, why not? As someone who's never liked heel fins, I'm definitely like, oh, these work great for me. So I do like them a lot. Ari says something like that, 45 liter, 6-foot ballpark. Yeah, sweet. Sweet. I think it's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Like, why not? Yeah, and all those options I sent are pretty much around there. And the Sunday, what we say, it was 56 liters. Yeah, it's 56, right? I can't find it now. But yeah, it's like sure you're losing 13 liters, you're losing 1 foot of board. It's like doesn't seem like a lot, but it's kind of a lot. I mean, even these two are 1 liter difference and 4 inches, and it's like a whole different world. Yeah. Sam saying, what gravel's better, flatter rock or a deeper concave or higher volume? Oh, so Mickey's saying same as Cindy, same here. Oh, sweet. What gravel's better? If anyone knows or has an opinion on this, Sam asks, what gravel's better, flatter rocker or deeper concave, or higher volume? I don't know. It's a good question. I do not know. True, 100. True that. What gravel is better? Flatter rocker, deeper concave, higher volume. I'm stumped. I'm stumped. Yeah, that's a great next option for you, Ari. Dude, I don't know, Sam. I do not know because me too. Because I know, like on the what board is it? I think it's the Two Fish. It's like really flat, so it does gravel better, but then it gets like a little more washy. Whereas like on the Revo Max, it has like an insane double concave from the V from the spine, and then the quad concave. But like the Revo Max like is really good at graveling. The MASHUP I think is pretty flat, and then it gets double V'd, or maybe it's double V the whole way. Can't remember if it's flat to double V, but it doesn't gravel that good. So I'm thinking that actually the double V is super popular though. We could ask like the chat GBT or whatever. Let's see. Maybe this was a little AI move we can pull here. The internet says oh, so it's kind of saying that the single concave, I've always thought single concave was like more of a short board performance thing, and then the double concave kind of opens up for more gravelly. I think these days, because volume's so important, I think I would always go more volume means it's going to gravel better just because you're going to float more. And then I can adjust to the board as needed. The Revo Max is like really thinned out. So it's almost like kind of the best of both worlds. It's thin and seems like there's not a lot of rocker. Like there isn't much rocker at all. It kind of has some, but it starts like kind of halfway. So it's very flat, and then pretty much right where your chest and head will be for the paddling. So the Revo Max uh, concave, or the rocker, is almost makes perfect sense because it weights to like right here, and it's more so I think for the paddling, and so you're not nosediving. Whereas most other ones, it's more so for when you're up and on the wave. So Migsy says, I wish Firewire does something like they did with the Boss Up or the Seaside and Beyond with the Machado Kato. Again, as a 5-fin setup would be mental. Ooh. True. I mean, it's funny they didn't do it with 5 fins, considering that it's like, but who knows? Maybe they're trying something new, where they're thinking that if they sell the board with 3 fins and they have Rob's new fins, people will just buy that more so. And maybe Rob already has like his quad fins with the 2 fish and that. So I'm not sure. I do know that some boards definitely do go better as one or the other. Like the pod mod for me never worked good as a quad, and the tri-fin like was it. Quad was never ever good. So it might have just been like he was understood the board worked better with the tri-fin. We have someone new, Tiki Lao Music. Thanks for stopping by. I like that, Tiki Lao Music. He bought the 6.9 Revo Max. It rips, but had to put the Machado keels for it to work for you. Interesting. Oh, we just hit 2 hours. I reckon this could be the longest surfboard review live stream I've done yet. So appreciate everyone. We have a dozen people watching. That's pretty cool. I am losing my voice, but we will keep going. We'll keep going. I might need to refuel on water, but okay, yeah. So he's saying, great job. Let's try different fins. As Tomo fins look pretty standard. True. That is the one part about when they have the fins with the board, is like you kind of get locked in, you get brainwashed like me, and I'm like, oh, just ride the fins. Like, what are you guys talking about? Other fins? F that. But I am from a past time where like I would just ride the AM2s, the FCS AM2s, which are the mediums. Future AM2s are larges. But the Almeric template fin, I basically would just ride that in every board and never went to other fins until I was like, oh, I want to be cool and ride twin fins and also quads. But I used to like always ride the same fins, never deviate, because it was how the board. I liked how the board rode. I was like, I don't want to ride differently. So, cool. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Megzy. We need you in here, causing fin chaos. But yeah, so I guess one more kind of pro. So I think we're like tied 2-2 right now. We might need to kind of like claim a victor. But I'm gonna say, what's the better daily driver? And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go Revo Max. That's what's great about the Revo Max, is when it does get bigger, you know it's actually gonna perform really well. The MASHUP, when it gets bigger, you're in for a world of pain, or a world of speed in your Speed Racer, but you're going to end up crashing like Speed Racer. And because it's just a smaller board, when it gets bigger, usually a bigger board is better in bigger waves, and that's where the Revo Max also does better, because it's naturally a longer rail, longer board, so it's going to hold a little better when you're getting tossed around. Even paddling and duck diving, like having more board is going to be a little nicer when it's turbulent and kind of gnarly out there on a bigger day. Tiki says, the Tomo fins whistled on my board on a day that was like 3 foot overhead and there was no drive. True, okay. Made the switch to something with a wider base and got more drive. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and that's what I think. I like how the Tomos, for me, it's like they're the perfect mix of slide out throwness, but not slide out and you fall. I've yet to find another pair of keels that don't like kind of slide out when I don't want them to. It might just be because of my style of surfing or something, but most twin fins were keel style until they started experimenting more, and that was typically what a twin fin was. It was down the line, fast, drivey, but then when you try to surf in the pocket, it's not as pocket friendly. So they started experimenting more, and so I think for most thruster people, an upright twin fin feels better than a keel twin fin, because on a thruster you're so used to having a back fin and having the pivot ability. So Rob kind of helped move it from that being the norm to like twin fins. And now it's like twin fins are pretty much like all the rage. In that Asher Pacey style of flow down the line, especially if it's like a East Coast America like softer wave, it's really not even that bad of a thing, because you don't have that perfect pocket Southern California wave. You have pretty much like a longboard slopey crap wave, which you want more drive. You don't want to have the fins holding you back. But you have to have a compromise. Like either you're going to have some hold and pivot, or you're going to have drive and flow. And that's kind of where like a quad fin makes a lot of sense, because it's pretty much a lot like a lot of the quads where they're more of a keel type. They have the twin fin flow, but then you have a little bit of bite with the smaller keels. Yeah, so I think ultimately the winner, unfortunately, is the Revo Max. I hate to do this to the poor MASHUP. He just collects dust and needs a new wax job very bad, but shortboards are out. The Revo Max is in. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner you guys get on board, the better. Because I'm going to keep claiming it, but most boards are going to look like this in 5 years, and they're going to look less like this. And I'm all for it, because if you ain't first, you're last. So Migsy says, I think boards with lower entry and exit rocker wider in the middle are great grovelers. You can read this twice. I think boards with lower entry, yes, and exit. Okay, true. So they're flatter, and then they have more volume. Okay, true. I think you're right. Yeah, because there's more board in the water, and it's flatter, so it's kind of like connected to the water more. That's a great point, actually, is the MASHUP, it's so tic-tacky that I think that's why it's not as good of a groveler as like the Machado Cotto or the Seaside, because it has the big double concave in the tail, which makes it, you can kind of see it right there. You can definitely see it. So it makes it want to go like this, as opposed to just go straight and flat. I don't know how the Revo Max doesn't do that, because it has a humongous spine in the Quad V, but it might be because the spine digs in the water almost like a fin, and then the twin fins in the quad kind of just like hold. It's a very stable board. Like that's what's so weird about it, is it's a twin fin, but like when you're riding, you're not like, oh, I'm on a twin fin, this is crazy. Especially because if you're good enough, you know where to stand, and you're not going to be like pushing really hard on the back of the board. So Migsy says, the Revo Max feels more like a continuous rocker to me. What are your thoughts in that, Boss Man? What are your thoughts in that, Boss Man? On the Boss Up, are you asking me, are you calling me the Boss Man, or you're asking about the Boss Up? Because I think, yeah, well, the Revo Max, it has like Yeah, it has a pretty deep double concave for sure. I agree. To me, it seems like it's more so caused by the middle being extended than it being flat and it being double beat in. But no, for sure. I mean, I can feel it right here. It's actually the quad concave. It runs up the whole board. Now that I look at it, I mean, it pretty much starts right here. So halfway up the board, you're already getting the quad V concave starting and going down the board. No other board really does that. So you're pretty much getting like a one middle fin throughout the whole board, a big double concave, and then in each square or each quadrant, you're getting another concave. So yeah, it's concaved out. So I don't know really what that means because it's pretty unique. But yeah. Miggsy 7800. Miggsy says, thanks. I know I couldn't agree with you more, even if I didn't ride it yet. Thank you. You're welcome. Finn's Chaos. You're welcome. Yeah, I agree. It's the Revo Max essentially like you can maybe even ride this thing without any fins, and like it might even ride okay. Cause like no other board is having all this action. I mean, all that going on right there. Like that belly right here is pretty unbelievable. Like my longboard has a belly which is kind of like a concaved or convexed, I mean, thing right here, so it doesn't go in, it kind of comes out. A lot of longboards will have that because it kind of creates kind of a rollover effect that can be nice, which this kind of has. That's why this feels like you're riding a longboard sometimes, but it has enough thinness and performance that it's not like it doesn't bog, it doesn't feel too crazy, and it's so thinned out. But yeah, guys, I don't know. I think we have pretty much went through all the pros and cons, and we've gotten this comparison to a pretty good point here. My voice is unfortunately getting to that point where it could go at any second, so I think we might have to call it quits here soon. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in again. Let me know in the chat if you have any more questions, Mixie, or Tiki or Sam or anyone. But I really appreciate you guys stopping by and being active in the chat. Thank you so much. It means a lot. It's cool. We're building like kind of a community here. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much because it's been a pretty wild, cool ride on the YouTubes. And it's funny how, for a while I was doing lots of camera stuff, and I still like to do camera stuff because it's very near and dear. But I can tell that the surfing aspect of YouTube is like actually a really good thing to do. Oh, you guys just let me a bunch of likes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like the surfing aspect of YouTube is pretty cool because like there's a kind of like a tight knit community building, and it's people that like I talk to a bunch now, and it's cool to like have this community of people I can trust, even though I haven't met a bunch of them in y'all in real life. Oh my gosh, Miggsy, you're the man. Miggsy says Travis is earning his subscribers today. Poor guy, we're making him work like crazy. Travis Board Jedi Master. Whoa. I'm just trying to be like Anakin before he turned to the dark side. Or actually, I kind of like the scene where he turned evil and his legs are chopped off and he's like, I hate you. So that scene is pretty cool. I do love Hayden Christensen. So I'm down for that. That's cool. And I appreciate you guys subscribing. Thank you so much. And thanks for the likes. And I'm having to earn my subscribers. You're correct. Because I can feel right here, there's not much less coming. But like I was saying with the community, I mean, please go check out some other guys like Tommy Surfs, Mike Raven, Surf and Show. I definitely got to shout out Noel Salas because he was really one of I think the main pioneers of really pushing this. And then I really got to shout out Shred Show, Chris Grow. Like I appreciate you, and you definitely helped pave the way for a lot of this. And now it's cool because we get to work together with a lot of this newer other stuff. And Now I get to be on camera and be a celebrity, so it's my time to shine. Shred Show, sorry. You had your time, and you know, but I still watch your YouTube videos, and we want you back. We want you back. But all right, guys, I think I've ran it on long enough. 2 hours, 15 minutes. I'd say that was a pretty great stream. Meg, Sam, Tiki, Ari, all the boys and girls, I appreciate everyone for tuning in to another Hero's Journey live stream. Till next time, peace.